So last year's LG Gram 17 wasn't bad. It wasn't the greatest Ultrabook on the market, but it was okay, right? There's just a lot of little things that I wanted them to fix, and this year they've changed a lot. It's just a much better performing laptop. And there's not a lot of Ultrabooks like this. Like honestly, how many other 17-inch Ultrabooks that you can think of weigh under 3 pounds? And there's a market for people who want something light with a massive display. The first thing you'll notice is they changed the color tones, like it's no longer that typical silver we saw on previous models. They now gave you the option to buy it in all black. And I think this looks absolutely clean and classy. One of the biggest complaints from last year's model was the flexible lid. It's still flexible in 2021, but it's not nearly as bad as the previous model. One of you guys asked me last year whether this would crack if you placed it in your bag and had lots of books on top. And last year's model did not do that. And this year's model does not do that either. Now, just like the previous model, you have tons of I/O. On the left-hand side, you have a full-size HDMI, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, and an audio jack. On the right-hand side, you have your Noble Lock, 2 USB ports, and a micro SD card slot. Again, I said this last year, there should be a full-size SD card slot because this chassis is so big that there's room to put one. So you can still open up the laptop with one hand. There's a bit of screen wobble, but nothing to be too worried about. It's a lot better than the previous version. It looks like they tightened up the hinge. Keyboard, so much nicer to look at. I don't know if you guys remember, but the previous models had yellow text on the keys, and I just thought it looked absolutely gross. This is just white lettering on black keys, and it just looks super clean. And because this is such a big deck, none of the keys look squished. And because of that, you have a space for a numpad. Touchpad, very big. It doesn't look that big because it's such a big deck, but it's a big touchpad. Very similar to the touchpad size on a Dell XPS 17. LG sticker guy. This guy is incredible because this is hands down the best sticker placement I have ever seen. These 2 stickers are literally matched perfectly. Every other laptop manufacturer usually has these things crooked. So LG sticker guy, I hope you're getting paid enough because you're doing a great job. The other big update is the display. It's still a 16:10, which I really like. It's 17 inches, but they improved the color accuracy. It's much better this year, and same with the color gamut. The brightness is similar to the 2020 models at around 400 nits, but overall, it's a much nicer display to look at. The only complaint is that it's still very glossy. Like no matter where you tilt the display, you can see reflections like crazy. It's not touch, so if that's something that's gonna bother you, you might wanna look at the LG Gram 14 instead. The bezel sizes are smaller, like cleaner, 90% screen to body ratio, just giving you a more appealing look. The webcam is still 720p, doesn't have Windows Hello embedded to it, but I feel like this is a missed opportunity for most laptop vendors. People are working from home, they're doing Zoom calls. Put a 1080p webcam in your laptops. You do have Windows Hello, but it's embedded into the power button, which is also your fingerprint scanner. Performance, on the other hand, is really interesting because the simple update from the 10th gen to 11th gen Intel processor paired with the newer Iris Xe graphics chip offered a nice improvement compared to last year. Like take a look at Mozilla Firefox. It took me 109 minutes to compile with the Gram 2020 compared to just over 50 with the 2021. Now granted, an AMD processor is still gonna give you much better results when it comes to compile time. So if you're a developer, stick to AMD. But the thing is, LG is marketing this towards creators, and it's a decent Ultrabook for creators, but it still performs a bit slower compared to the Intel Ultrabook competition. It's not bad, it's still below what's out there. Same with Adobe Premiere Pro. If you plan on editing video, I still think you should find something with a dedicated GPU, but if you need to do a simple 1080p edit, this will be able to handle it just fine. And the reason why LG's performance is just under the competition is because they're prioritizing fan noise over everything else. Even on performance mode, the fan is still below 40 decibels, which is fantastic for my ears, but if I'm trying to squeeze everything out of this Ultrabook, It's kind of hard to do when you're keeping the fan noise or the fan speed that low. Just by looking at these internals, we can see why the Gram 17 doesn't allow clock speeds to get too high for too long. The cooling solution is just not adequate enough. There's only one fan and one heat pipe. I would have loved to see 2 heat pipes and 2 fans. You do have 2 storage slots. One is populated. The other one is empty if you want to expand down the road. All the RAM is now soldered on to the motherboard. With previous models, you can upgrade at least 1 stick. Wi-Fi card is soldered on too, but that shouldn't be a big deal considering this is Wi-Fi 6. And the battery is still 80 watt hours. Now I only got just under 10 hours of use with the 2020 model, but with the 2021 model, I'm getting just under 18, and that is absolutely incredible. Speakers sound good, but they don't sound as good as a MacBook Air or MacBook Pro 13. So here's the thing. I think the Gram 17, the 2021 model, is a massive improvement compared to its predecessors. But I still don't think it's a laptop for creators. I feel like this is the perfect laptop for someone who wants the biggest screen as possible, who wants to travel light as possible. Someone who's crunching Excel sheets all day. Maybe they're just browsing the web and they're attending Zoom calls and possibly dabbling into a little bit of development and editing the odd 1080p video. That's what this laptop is great for. And it does this by giving you a massive, beautiful, color accurate display, insane battery life, while all keeping the weight under 3 pounds. Now, if you have any more questions about this, let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.